ever.
Right,
yeah,
so you got to wonder.
I'm wondering if he has a spike strip that he might be trying to deploy ahead of this vehicle to get him to stop or possibly run a traffic break ahead of him. I'm going to widen out, see what's going on here. He's probably just raced up ahead, clearing traffic. He might try and perform a traffic break to stop traffic and kind of create a road dam for this truck that he won't be able to get it past. There's another one. There's another CHP going past. That's so interesting. That's not something I've usually seen in the past.
So this is the second time that they would attempt a traffic stop if that's what they're trying to do here, right, Brian?
And Brian, explain what happened last time they tried it.
Yeah, so last time they tried it, he actually went all the way over to the shoulder, and he drove around the traffic break on the shoulder. So I'm not sure. There's a third. That was another CHP vehicle and another one. So they're planning something. Something is going on, but it looks like this guy might be trying to get off the freeway. He's obviously seeing those vehicles go past him as well. So he might try and get off the freeway and avoid whatever they're setting up. They might be going ahead and blocking off ramps so that he can't get off if they perform a roadblock. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with those CHP officers getting ahead of this pursuit. But that's definitely unique and something I have not seen very much.
Yeah, we have seen the CHP be a lot more aggressive with these chases over the last maybe 3-4 months or so. A noticeable difference in tactics, though I don't think it's something that they're making openly public right now. And the issue here, Brian, as I'm watching this truck get on the off-ramp, you can't get too far ahead. You're right, because then they see what's happening and they veer for the first exit, and it looks like that's exactly what happened here. The other issue is if you try to block the path, you run the risk of this person just driving through you. Like I said, this is not your average passenger vehicle. This is basically a tank on wheels, with speeds that can pick up pretty quickly. You really run the risk of putting your officers in front of a vehicle like this.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So that vehicle, that tractor trailer, or that tractor would have no problem pushing a police vehicle out of the way. It's designed to haul a real heavy trailer, so it's going to have plenty of power to push, a single vehicle out of the way without too much problem. But yeah, so we kind of saw it happen where they zoomed ahead, but then they, the vehicle got off the freeway.
And now we're back on surface streets. A lot of this is now starting to look familiar, Brian. Can you give us a sense of where we are at this point? I'm seeing a lot of familiar street names, Brookhurst, the 91 freeway, things like that, and it just seems like we're going in one giant circle.
It does seem like that. It seems like, and maybe he is familiar with this area. Maybe when he stole this vehicle, his intent was to come down here with it anyways. And so we've gotten to an area where he's familiar with, because a lot of times these pursuits, when they end up driving in circles like this, it's because they're familiar with the area. So it seemed random at the time. It seemed random as we've been following him, but we're back on Brookhurst. We were on Brookhurst earlier. So this may not be as random as we think. He was here, exactly here, not too long ago. So he is kind of traveling in circles now. We're not exactly sure what he's doing. Looks like he might be getting back on the freeway.
I had the same thought, Brian. Perhaps this person is familiar with this area, frequents it, lives in the area. That's why they're so familiar with it. And we've been kind of circling this since we first got over this on the 57 freeway, entering the Orange County area from where this first started in Fontana. Again, the possible kidnapping in progress here and in a possible stolen big rig. That's all according to Fontana police. They believe that the possible kidnapped person is a woman in the passenger seat who had called 911 but got disconnected, saying about a situation with a big rig where pit maneuver out of the question, really. A spike strip possible if they could have any sort of activity against such a large vehicle with so many tires. And within the last few minutes, we've seen CHP involved here on the freeways. We've also seen Fullerton police jump behind this big rig, this stolen big rig, and as it continues here on the 5 freeway in what appears to be just a giant circle.
A giant circle. And Brian, you said you've covered a number of these as well. Not as common as just a regular vehicle. But here we are in this situation. We did mention, as Jonathan mentioned, we did see a few CHPs bypass this vehicle. Still don't know where they're at exactly. We did see that driver exit the freeway, now back on the freeway. So we're just monitoring this situation. But again, there's no real game plan here that we know of.
Yeah, it's So we're back on the 5 North now, and we're now in an area that we haven't been. This is not a spot that we've been to before in this pursuit. He's picking up speeds a little bit as he's now on the freeway, and it seems like there's not much traffic. We're kind of hitting the 60 mile per hour mark, which is about as fast as we've seen him go during this pursuit. But yeah, he's kind of staying over to the right side of the freeway there in the, like number 4, number 5. And there we go. He's getting off again at Auto Center Drive. We saw him on a different part of Auto Center Drive earlier. Yeah. But there he goes back off the freeway, perhaps staying in an area that he's familiar with, but just kind of trying to drive and get away and kind of see what happens. But yeah, so now we're back to slower speeds, back to a more dangerous situation. But there you go. See, driving again north, just on a road next to the freeway. All those ground units still below him. There's an air unit still in the air above him. So he's not going to get away. The bottom line is, unless they call off the ground units, go into surveillance mode with the air unit, this guy's not going to get away.
Yeah, we saw some of those vehicles just kind of get out of their way as they were trying to maneuver to get onto that, to make that right turn there.
The other thing, too, Brian, is this driver may know that the further north they go on the 5 freeway, they're going to hit a lot more traffic, especially once the 5 enters LA County. So they may know that. Obviously the 5 freeway a little bit emptier at this hour in the Orange County area. They seem to be trying to stay away from as much traffic as possible. That's why we've seen this person go on the wrong side of the road at some points, and obviously stick to freeways that are much more open. But there doesn't seem to be a game plan at all as they make yet another right turn, and the circle continues.
Yeah, he's just kind of going in the same area, kind of doing circles. I'm looking out my window right now at the 5 North, and yeah, it's not particularly light traffic. There is plenty of cars on it on both the northbound and southbound sides. So yeah, and the closer he gets to LA, the more populated it's going to get. So he may be staying off the freeway on purpose. Oh, he's coming to a stop. All right. That's the same person. That's the same person as earlier, I think.
Oh, okay. Wait, did that person just hand something or drop something off on that vehicle?
There's a Bearcat. Oh. They just rammed it with a Bearcat. Holy moly.
You need a tank to stop a tank.
Yeah, that's a SWAT Bearcat. It looks like they're getting very aggressive here. It looks like they're going to try and pit that vehicle with the Bearcat.
All right, and this is a narrow street, so again, we see a bunch of vehicles here as well.
We're going to try it again here. This is a very dangerous situation. Now we're seeing speeds pick up. We want to let our viewers know the 11 o'clock. We're trying to get everything together here. The 11 o'clock news on NBC4 is started early here. We've been over at Chase out of the Fontana area, now in Orange County. It is a big rig, a possible stolen big rig that we've been following, and a possible kidnapping. We understand that there's a potential woman in the passenger seat. We've seen a person reach out to people on the street, and in the last few seconds, we've seen that Bearcat there, a SWAT vehicle, trying to meet its match, trying to pit this truck and finally bring this chase to an end. We want to get back up to our Brian Andrews. He's been following this in News Chopper 4. And yes, we started our newscast early. Brian, we want to get back up to you. This is quite the development here.
Yeah, this is pretty aggressive and pretty wild. This is something I have not seen very often at all, is using a Bearcat to try and pit a larger vehicle like this. But that's what they need, that Bearcat. That's okay. So we're gonna. I might drop the shot here. He's kind of driving unpredictably, so. I'm going to try and keep the shot here, but it's going to be a little bit tough. All right, we got it. So that Bearcat, that's a heavy vehicle, and what they're going to do is they're going to use that heavy vehicle to try and pit that heavy tractor. Because the normal patrol vehicles, they don't have the armor and the ability to do that. It did look like he rammed the side of that truck, and there might have been fuel spilling out, because he rammed it kind of right where those big silver gas fuel tanks are. Mm-hmm. And he rammed it pretty aggressively, but this is definitely a very interesting situation. I'm not exactly sure which municipality that Bearcat is with. It just looks like it says police on it. I'm not sure if it's Fullerton. I'm not sure if it is CHP or Fontana. I'm not sure who it is. I would guess Fullerton, since right now Fullerton is the lead in this pursuit. But yeah, it looks like they're saying, all right, enough is enough. We're going to end this on our terms. And Okay,
Oh,
there you
boy.
go. Driving on the wrong side. He cut that corner. Yeah, it looks like there might be fuel coming out of that. It looks like there might be fuel coming out of that left side. So you can see there is some damage to that left side fuel tank there, right in the center of the screen. That
Yeah, you're
silver,
right.
that's a fuel tank. He's been crunched a little bit there. So he may be leaking diesel fuel as he's been driving along here from that Bearcat connecting with that tractor.
You know,
And that
Ryan-
tractor, go ahead.
Ryan, and I've noticed that the passenger has been gesturing quite a bit. I'm not sure if you noticed that at one point before this pit maneuver was attempted, this person threw something out, or at least was trying to, I mean, really just stuck out one of her arms out. And I'm not sure if you caught that.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't. I saw that when the tractor stopped just a few moments ago, I saw him interacting with somebody on the side of the road. I don't know if that was just a random person that happened to be there or if they were interacting with the tractor, but I definitely saw that person right there. Right before we saw the Bearcat ram them, we saw that person on the side. But no, I didn't see them trying to throw anything out of that cab.
Okay, and this is interesting. Now we're in a residential area.
Here on the right side of your screen, you had that moment there of when that Bearcat that was just brought onto the chase here attempted a pit maneuver. And from Brian, from your shot, yes, that gas tank on the left side of the driver's side of the truck suffered significant damage. I mean, that is very significant. We talked about that these two tanks on either side of the big rig can hold hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel each, meaning this vehicle, despite its terrible fuel economy, can go a long ways for a long time, but there took a big hit. And we know that that Bearcat is going to try to pit this vehicle again. You know, I said it earlier, you need a tank to stop a tank. We've seen big rig chases before. I don't know if we've seen a Bearcat follow this closely behind a chase like this.
Yeah, I've definitely never seen this. I've never seen a Bearcat get involved in a pursuit like this. Okay, this is interesting. Looks like that
trying to
Bearcat's
bounce
moving
him
in.
Yeah.
He's going to try and stop
There it
him.
is.
So that Bearcat is armored. It's got bulletproof everything. It's got a turret on the top. So these are undercover vehicles. These are not civilians. These are undercover officers, probably from Fontana. They pinned him in. The passenger looks like they have opened their door. The passenger's door is open. Hands are up from the passenger. Driver hasn't done anything right now.
Oh, boy.
It looks like we've lost Brian's shot there. It looks like officers
back.
here have finally pinned in this big rig. We have the person in the passenger seat who Fontana believes may be a kidnapping victim here with their hands raised. We've seen that person interact with people on the street. We can only assume begging for help. We understand that person who you see whose hands are raised had called 911 saying that the driver of the big rig would not let them out of the big rig. So you see how quickly that person was to give up.
All right, we see the driver
And
finally
now the driver
getting
finally
out.
opening their door. We're hopeful this comes to a peaceful end. We've seen the driver open their door before, Brian, and refuse to get out.
Yeah, we have. So right now, those vehicles that haven't pinned in, those are likely Fontana SWAT, Fullerton SWAT officers. So you can see those guys. They're not in the normal uniforms. They've got body armor. They've got helmets on. There's the driver out of the vehicle, hands up. He's just come out. The passenger looks like they're still in the vehicle. That driver is listening to commands. They're ordering him back. It looks like this may be under control. They're going to get him down on his knees here in a moment, probably, and take him into custody. What a interesting end to this pursuit, where they just there you go. Yep. Okay. All right. Now they've still got their guns drawn. They're going to start giving the passenger who has their hands up and out the passenger side of that truck. They're going to give them orders to get down, get out. They might come around the other side of the vehicle, so they've got eyes on them. You can see them coming around the back. They're going to get eyes on that passenger, have them get down. They're going to treat them just like the suspect. They're going to get them out, give them orders, get them down on the ground, because they don't know the situation. So they need to protect themselves, make sure that that person is not involved. There you go. You can see the driver in cuffs, being led away now, in custody. Now they just have that passenger who's still just sitting, looks like they're just standing there in the tractor door, not getting out right now. We know that those officers are going to be giving that passenger commands to come down, get out, get on the ground. But right now, I think the officers are just trying to figure out how to do this safely, taking their time. There's no rush. They don't need to hurry through this. The tractor is pinned. The driver is in custody. They're going to take their time, make sure they can do this safely and effectively.
A wild pursuit. We see Canaan. We see a lot of activity. If you can, Brian, just tell us whereabouts we're at. I know we're on Beach Boulevard and Franklin Street. Traffic around that area looks pretty congested as we're seeing this passenger still on that big rig.
Yeah, so we're not on Beach Boulevard. That's a pretty main street. Beach Boulevard and Franklin. Yeah, traffic is stopped right now. So there's going to be, I would avoid this area of Buena Park if you can, because it's going to be a little bit hectic and chaotic here while they get this under control. But okay, so there you can see the passengers out there in the crosswalk. They've got their hands and arms up. That looks like a man. Looks like a male to me. They're walking backwards.
And as you mentioned, they're going to treat this person just like the suspect initially before they figure out exactly what the situation is. Again, Fontana police saying this is a possible kidnapping, but they're going to have to work to confirm that. And now, Brian, the job is to confirm that these were the only two people left in that big rig cab.
Exactly. You can see those officers still covering that cab to make sure that there's no one in there. They're going to go, they're going to check, make sure that it is indeed empty and there's no other suspects in that vehicle. All right, there we go. That is a code 4. That situation, we saw them give the code 4 sign. This is under control. The driver has been apprehended. The passenger has also been apprehended. Everyone is
high-fiving each other. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
that was a unique one.
This really was a unique one. It was a wild chase. You know, fortunately, nobody was injured here. But, you know, it was very, very concerning for so many people, so many of these drivers that were out and about. And then, of course, that passenger who may, again, be possibly have been kidnapped. So, yeah, we are, of course, going to continue to monitor that situation there. But you can still see that there is a lot of police presence, congestion in that area, and a lot of activity still. And
a lot of questions still to be answered. We will continue to follow this. Brian Andrews, thank you as always up at News Chopper 4 for following this so diligently. And you know, this is how we want to see these chases come to an end. That Bearcat coming out of nowhere, but thankfully, as you mentioned, Annabelle, no one injured. We're going to wrap this up. Brian, thank you once more.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, guys.